Hunters have all kinds of methods to catch their prey. There's ambushing, stalking, and plain old brute force. But one of the most clever ways may be luring. Snakes are usually predators of the ambush variety, though they'll engage in a stalking or two. But one desert viper has been known to employ a lure that would make the most experienced fisherman blush. But anatomical trickery may be the key to this serpent's survival in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal info. I'm Joe.
And I am Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, search Cassie Michelle on YouTube. And today we're talking about something we were supposed to talk about a few weeks ago, but goofed, and now we're talking about it now. More on that now.
We, the royal we.
The royal we.
Yes. But yes, so this is going to sound familiar, but this is the one that we meant to talk about.
But there's the major fact is very, 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 very different.
Yes. So we're talking about just a combination of everyone's two favorite things. If I just walked down the street and said, hey, what are your two favorite things? I imagine that probably, I want to say 67% of people would say spiders and snakes. And then God went ahead and made that.
That's true.
He made the spider-tailed horned viper. So it's the devil incarnate. In fact, one of my very first nickname is the devil you think you know. I'm also calling it the air traffic control snake.
Okay.
Which we'll talk about. And the scales of justice.
Good.
Would have been a good addition to the Justice League. But yeah, spider-tailed horned viper. Let's go ahead and just dive right into the taxonomy. Because I get to say some fun words. Like the kingdom Animalia. Because you know what you love it, you're in it. You gotta have it, you like it. You want some more of it. Key Largo. Montego. Baby, why don't we go down to phylum Chordata? Of course, it's a snake. This class is... Oh boy, I wrote this from memory, but I probably should have looked at it. Reptilla. That's not it. There's an I in it, isn't there?
It's Reptilia.
Yeah, it is Reptilia. There is the I.
Okay, yeah, it's Reptilia.
Goodness, I second guess myself all the time with that. The order is Squamata. What's Squamata with you? I've been bitten by a snake. The suborder is Serpentes. I wrote Sperpentes because I don't look at my hands when I type. The family is Viperidae. It's a whole family of vipers. It's not a family you want to marry into. The genus is Pseudocerastes. Pseudocerastes. Sorry.
Similar to a Cerastes.
Yeah, well, if you remember in our horned viper episode, maybe I want to say 6 or 7 episodes ago, it was Cerastes was the nomenclature, and this is Pseudocerastes. So you'd think, but it's not. And the species is Urachnoides. Urachnoides.
I recognize some of those syllables.
Yes, like ack. Yeah, it means spider-like, which would be, I guess, Peter Parker's nomenclature. So it's Pseudocerastes Urachnoides.
Cool.
It's the nomenclature. But we're not done naming things because we're in the business of naming things. I guess we make money naming. We don't. It's time for my favorite part of the show, and that part of the show is critter groups. The part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that question is the same every time. What is the name of a group of this animal? What is the term of venery is another way to say it, or what is it? The collective noun. So if you saw a group of snakes, if you just on the off chance plunge through an ancient Egyptian tomb on your way looking for a map to the Ark of the Covenant, and you found that there was a bunch of snakes in there, would you call it A, a tangle of snakes, B, a den of snakes, C, a mass of snakes, or D, a slither of snakes?
A mass, a den, a slither. What's the first one?
Tangle.
A tangle. I guess I'm gonna go with a mass, but I have no reasoning for my choice. Oh, I don't like it, but whatever. We're going with it.
Okay. All right. Just go with your heart. Listen to what your heart says about snakes. Well, actually, you're wrong. The answer was den.
The heart is evil and not to be trusted.
Yes, it is fallen. Because the answer, yes, it's a den of snakes.
That was my second guess, actually.
I thought you would get that because it's even
a den of vipers.
Yeah.
It's a brood.
It's a brood of vipers. That's that.
Jesus says den, I think, in some translations.
Den of thieves.
Oh, den of thieves.
Maybe. Yeah, you've turned my father's house into a den of thieves.
Anyway, I'm thinking a den of thieves.
That was the best the best Aladdin sequel. Aladdin and the Den of Thieves.
Aladdin and the Brood of Vipers.
All right, so let's talk about where this guy lives. The spider-tailed horned viper. He has a pretty limited range. I was pretty surprised. It just lives in West Iran. I thought it would be all over maybe North Africa and into the Middle East, and nope, just
Fertile Crescent.
I don't know. It's not. That's Iraq.
Is it?
Yeah.
But you thought it would be located in Iraq.
Yes.
Everywhere.
I thought it would be all up and down there. Yeah. Western Iran, it borders Iraq. So, but I think the Fertile Crescent is not in anywhere near Iran. Anyway, the point is that it likes dry, arid, desert-like brushland with lots of rocky areas and caves to hide in. That does not sound very Fertile Crescent-y to me. I'm not getting a Tigris or a Euphrates vibe from that. So yeah, it likes the desert, which is why I'm surprised it's not in more desert areas, because there's a lot of that going around over there. But so let's talk about what it looks like. In case you missed our episode on the horned viper, go back and listen to it. But it looks very similar to the horned viper with some titular differences. It is shortish, thickish, and it has very spiky scales. Kind of looks like jackfruit skin, if you know what a jackfruit is. That 20-pound fruit that is just covered in spikes, like a pawpaw or a prickly pear.
Jackson fruit.
Don't pick a raw paw, and next time, beware. It has the snake has the characteristic wide triangular head of a viper, and it has a series of scales that form those devilish horns above the eyes. It's devilishly handsome, I guess, for a snake. The eyes are yellowish tan and have those vertical cat pupils, or cats have spider pupils. I'm not really sure. It's a chicken and egg thing.
They both have Witcher pupils.
Yes, it's both. They have Geralt pupils. Spidey's scales have a base tan with some brown sunspots patterned down the length of his body, kind of like a diamondback
old man's
rattlesnake.
hand. Oh, okay, different.
What? Yeah, or
two kinds of people.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, different strokes. Like all vipers, Spidey has a pair of sharp fangs that act as hypodermic needles to inject venom into its prey. And like all snakes, he can unhinge, quote unquote, look at my air quotes, Look at them, I said. It can unhinge its jaw to swallow prey several times larger than its head. Now, the reason for the air quotes is because they don't actually unhinge or dislocate their jaws. Since they were never hinged in the first place, I actually just looked this up because you always think of like, oh, snakes unhinge their jaws to be able to eat, deer and stuff. But there's no hinge. You can't dislocate it like you can ours because that's not how they work. They're just attached by a stretchy ligament or on stretchy ligaments on either side.
So they continued to non-hinge their jaw.
Yeah, they keep their they really work hard on keeping their jaws unhinged anyway. Never continuing the status quo of non-hingement. And other than that, there's nothing else to say about its appearance. Completely normal and boring snake tail. Moving on.
Well, except for its size and dimensions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I said shortish and thickish, so that suffices.
What could that mean-ish? Well, welcome to the Beloved Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show, the part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for not just me, not just you, the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you when you send in audio of yourself saying, singing, or hissing the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week, I'm pretty sure. That means we get to hear from an animal that we were supposed to hear from last week. So there's some tonal differences in terms of the animal choices. And Carlos has to guess what it is.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Bring it on.
Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show. It's a fun sound.
It hurts.
So, is that A, Sanford sea eagle, B, a kelp gull, C, an Australasian gannet, or D, a Laysan albatross? A Laysan albatross?
Sure.
Australasian?
Huh. It sounded a lot like the seahorses that Jiminy Cricket rides on when they go to.
It does sound like a seahorse.
They go to fight. It doesn't sound anything like a seahorse.
Sounds just like a seahorse.
Sounds like a Disney seahorse from the late '60s. I'll give them that. I have no idea. Albatrosses are really big, so I imagine they'd have really deep voices. They'd sound like Kevin Michael Richardson. That's just all albatrosses in my head sound like that. I'm going to go with whatever ended with the word gull.
Kelp gull.
Yes, that one.
Final answer.
Yes.
The correct answer is Laysan albatross.
Oh, wow. That doesn't sound like Kevin Michael Richardson at all.
No, unless he was, doing a seahorse impression.
That'd be very impressive.
Let's talk about length. They are, by they, I don't mean Kevin Michael Richardson or albatross. I'm talking about the spider-tailed horned viper. They are 531 millimeters or 20 inches, thereabouts. How many vipers go into Mount Damavand, the tallest mountain in Iran? Here's a hint. The mountain is significant in Persian Persian, I wrote. Persian mythology and folklore, and it's depicted on Iran's 10,000 rials banknote.
All right, I'm going 15,000 feet. And this is about a little over 1.5 feet. So I guess I will say 9,000 snakes. 9,000 spider-tailed horned vipers go into Mount Donovan.
Damavand. The correct answer, the final answer?
Yes. 9,000.
Correct answer is 11,041.8 snakes. The mountain is 5,609.2 meters or 18,403 feet tall.
It was pretty darn close.
When it comes to mountain height, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
What's 3,000 feet among friends?
Very tall friends.
Let's talk about weight.
Not my weight.
The Persian horned viper, which is another viper in the genus, is about 500 grams or 1.1 pounds. They're about the same length. So unless there's a very large thickness difference, then they're probably the same weight or similar. How many snakes go into the world's heaviest bird? Do you know what that is?
I'm going to go with ostrich.
That's correct.
Like, I definitely thought of ostrich, but I was like, I'm racking my brain for any bird that even comes close.
Yeah, here's a hint. The ostrich can be up to 9 feet tall. And we're going with a 9-foot tall male, their weight. So the upper end of average.
I'm going to say they're 200 pounds. They might be a little bit much. But I've never picked one up before, so I don't have much to go on.
It's a lot to carve.
I know that when in South Africa, if you were more than 150 pounds, you could not ride them.
Interesting. Did you eat it?
Yeah, I had lots. Oh my goodness, lots of ostrich.
Is it like a poultry kind of meat, or is it more gamey, or like almost like a red meat?
It's a lean red meat.
Wow.
There was a restaurant just down the street from my hostel, and they sold. They had a really, really great gorgonzola ostrich burger, and with like caramelized onions, and so good. I had it basically every day.
I wonder if it's mixed with beef, or if it's just straight ostrich.
I assumed it was straight ostrich. No indication that it wasn't. But I guess, who knows? They could have been feeding me anything. It definitely had a very distinct flavor. But I don't know. I couldn't tell you what gamey tastes like. So it might have been that. But anyway.
Did you figure it out?
Yeah. We're gonna say 200 pounds.
Okay.
And how heavy is the snake?
About 1.1 pounds.
All right, we're gonna go with 190.
190 snakes.
Yep.
Final answer.
Yep.
It's about 254.5 snakes.
Ooh.
Male ostrich can be up to 280 pounds.
It's a heavy bird. Heavy boy.
Yeah. I think there was a lot lost in that 0.1 pound, too.
I shaved 10 off just because I'm not about to do actual math. We're estimating here.
Okie dokie. You got any fast facts before we get into the general fact?
I do. Let's knock them out. So it loves to eat birds, and that's all I'll say. That's its diet. It has a strike of 0.2 seconds, which allows it to accelerate up to 28 Gs.
Oh my gosh.
Which would kill people. Even fighter pilots rarely go past 10. So, and they can't sustain it for long for sure. So that's insane. Vipers
if it's only 0.2 seconds, it might not kill people.
I don't know. It might like break your bones or something like that.
Oh, well, okay.
I don't know what experiencing 28 Gs for any portion of time would do to you. But so vipers used to be considered as having the fastest strike among snakes, but that title is now held by the Texas rat snake, according to the University of Louisiana. So they could get I think it's just they could get up to 28 Gs in acceleration more consistently and frequently than vipers. And that's all I got.
Interesting. Okay. Well, get ready because I went a little crazy with alliteration. So here we go. If you find yourself hiking in a Middle Eastern desert only to find a spider doing figure eights on a nearby rock, resist the urge to go and pet it. I know you really want to.
I do.
But that's no spider. It's a moon, as in a backside, like a backside of a snake.
You've been mooned.
Yeah. It's a snake's tail. Like rattlesnakes, the spider-tailed horned viper's body comes to an interesting ending. Their tails sport more than just your typical tip. These horned vipers have a spiky-looking body that ends in an even spikier tail. So looking at it while it's motionless, the tip of the viper's tail looks like several spikes pointing outward, ending in a bulbous tip. So it looks like some exotic fruit, like a jackfruit. It's making this butt ornament.
Looking at it, the best thing I can equate it to is in Pirates of the Caribbean 2, when they, if you haven't seen it, close your ear holes. When they blow up the Kraken's tentacles, and it's just like the ribs, I guess, of the tentacles, and just like kind of a fleshy like middle part with this stuff sticking out. That's what I think of when I see this tail. I don't know if that resonates with anybody, but if it does, tweet at us.
I'm having a hard time considering that. But when it starts moving the tail like an expert fly fisherman back and forth, it looks like some insect or arthropod frantically moving around. Even me, a big-brained human with color vision, can't help but see this tail as some spider skittering around on a rock. So, the viper has a taste for that sweet, sweet air candy. Birds, as you mentioned, are their preferred meal, and other snakes have trouble scoring such a paltry prize. But the spider-tailed viper has a two-part tantalizing tactic. First of all, they have excellent camouflage. Both their coloration and their texture, the texture of their skin, blend into the rocky desert environments which they live in. They set up base camp in insectivorous bird territory and wait for a hapless victim. Next,
they expose not even a single hap.
They're fresh out of hap.
Fresh out.
Has happenstance would have it. But next, they expose their tail and rake it along the ground as if it's a spider crawling on the rock, exposed to birdly predation. The birds who are incredibly birdly. Well, the birds who are desperately trying to feed their chicks can't help but to go after every arthropod they can get. They manage to get their beaks around and bring back to their nest. So I saw a video of a bird that was so enamored with the tail and so blind to the body that it landed on the snake's head, and the snake moved slightly, which startled the bird, but still the bird took the bait so relentlessly that she repositioned and went after the spider tail again, only to be snatched by the viper's venomous fangs.
That's a dumb bird.
If you look at videos, it must be some instinct like kicking in, like predator instinct, because, and if you look at a video of this tail thing, some videos, unless it's close up, it's like, I know that's the tip of a tail, but where is the snake? Like, I can't tell where the snake is. They're very good at camouflage, and they also like to dangle their tails outside of like little crevices and holes, so they'll be like literally hidden in the dark.
It looks really convincing. If I was a bird.
I'm just so glad that I'm not walking around the desert with like a hankering for snatching up spiders.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Apomus beetle. It's like, oh, I'm just an innocent little bug. Please don't snatch me up. Now I'm going to drain you dry for the rest of your short, miserable life.
Except for the Apomus beetle is just like, look, I'm just a little bug. And it is just a little bug. But it's just more formidable. But this is like, oh, I'm just a little bug. No, I'm a full-on snake.
Yeah. Terrifying. It's like I thought it was a spider, and it turns out to be a full-on snake.
I thought it was a spider, and it turns out to be a little worse than a spider. Actually, probably quite worse. Quite worse, yeah.
Yeah. I would much rather encounter... no, I would much rather encounter literally any single spider than a viper.
True. But if we have to get bit by one, I don't know which one's better.
Literally any spider.
Really? There's no extremely venomous spider?
Oh, yeah, but that doesn't come close to a viper's venom.
Huh.
Even like the black widow or the brown recluse, like they're hyped up as like the most venomous spiders because they are, but
brown recluse isn't.
It's hyped up.
Necrosis. It is hyped up.
But you're not likely to die from a bite from one of them unless you're allergic. But you are very likely to die from like a rattlesnake or a viper bite if you don't get it treated.
Very true. They also
a lot more venom.
Probably more, yeah. Okie dokie. That's all I got.
All right. Yeah. Go look up a picture of this if you're not driving. If you are, then finish driving and then go look it up.
Pull over. This is important. Pull over into the next gas station
and look it up.
And look it up.
But yeah, this is what we meant to talk about. But it turns out that the sidewinding was also incredibly interesting. That's actually, if I remember right, the fastest. I think it's the fastest snake. Is the sidewinding ones?
Is it? What about the black racer?
Okay, according to safarisafricana.com, the sidewinder can move at 18 miles per hour, with like the black mamba at 12, and the southern black racer at 10.
The black mamba is pretty deadly too, man. It's
quick that one's
and deadly.
It's the quick and the dead.
It is.
Russell Crowe,
he's the quick and we're the dead.
All right, that was the spider-tailed horn viper. Just a chimera of goodness. So for you out there in Podcastia, curl up under a rock, stick your tail out, and lure your prey in with a tasty morsel like the spider-tailed horn viper here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey LDT listeners, thanks for listening to the end of the episode. For your loyalty, you get a shameless self-promotion from us. If you haven't already, leaving a review on your favorite podcast app can really help us grow. But telling your podcast-loving friends about us is even better. Also, don't forget to send in your Measure Up intros and animal suggestions to ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We love hearing from you. As always, thanks, most of all, for listening.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
While you think about that, I'll be right back.
All right. So it's just you and me, the listener. Let's think this through. Ostriches are 9 feet tall, hollow bones, gentle dispositions. Not that affects their weight or anything, but it affects my weight. You know, when my disposition is like aggressive or angry, I tend to eat more. So I'm just, I'm being real with you for a second. But I don't know if that affects the ostrich. So, and my bones aren't hollow as far as I know. I haven't checked my bones in a little while. But who knows? Oh, he's back. Shh, shh, shh.
Did you figure it out?
Yeah. We're gonna say 200 pounds.
Okay.